Hi, everyone. I'm so excited. I was like trying to come up with a name for this, and I was like, Lunch and Crunch. I don't even have my lunch here. I'm starving. I didn't have time. I was on a getting started right call. Like Tiffany came on, and I was still on the call. So I'm a little hungry. And if I get hangry, just let me know.
Guys.
So
That's gonna hurt.
I'm excited to do this because I think it's going to be really good for all of the leaders and new leaders. And, I want some feedback from new leaders, and I want some feedback from older leaders, like, Star Diamonds and that kind of stuff. So I think that the new leaders can learn from the Star Diamonds and really start to develop your leadership skills, because that's where this is all about. If we're building a business, we got to build our leadership skills. So today's topics are obviously about leadership, because this is our first diamond call. But I wanted to go into talking about leading teams. How are you leading your teams? Where do you want to go with your teams? All that kind of stuff, because it's important to start thinking about things like Elite and Star Diamond and how we're going to get there. How are we prepping our teams to do the same thing? So something big with Beachbody is obviously creating something that's duplicatable. What are you doing now that can be duplicated with your team down the road? And how are you leading your new coaches to be able to do what you've already done? Does that make sense? So I want to know, from you guys, what are you doing now, even if you're a new leader, to develop your newer working coaches? As far as, stuff like a getting started right call and, emails and all that kind of stuff. Like, what are you guys doing? Feel free to take yourselves off mute.
All this background noise. Am I on mute?
No, I just took you off.
Okay. What I do when I first sign a coach is immediately I send them a welcome coach email, and that has like all the pages all the groups that are available to them. And I have the links on there so they can add themselves to whatever groups they want to be added to. And I explain who everybody is, like who am I, who is Kristen, and who's Kaylee, and who's Melanie. And I put all those links so that they can add themselves to whatever team pages they want to add themselves to, whatever they find will be most helpful to them. Because I used to add them to all the groups, and I find that it overwhelmed them. Mm-hmm. So I don't do that anymore. Yeah. And then also on that one, I tell them what challenge groups we have running for that month and where they can be plugged into. And I give them, what else do I give them? The coach manual in there. And then I have the link for them to do the Getting Started Right, the Getting Started training on the Beachbody website. Okay. So it's on the back office, so they can go on that. And then also in there are the discount code, like the video that I have explaining what types of coaches there are and what kind, so they can identify themselves with whatever coach they want to be. And I send this to all my coaches, discounts, working coaches. It doesn't matter what signs up for who. I send it to everybody. And then I just watch them from there, and I kind of wait for them to take initiative and do, add themselves to whatever groups. And then that kind of guides me into what direction to take with them. And then based off that, I can do a getting started right call. And based on what they've done with that email, that's how I kind of gauge of where I'm going to go next. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So something else that I do, I actually have a picture. I don't know if you guys know. I know, like, Kristen's a big fan of the color code personality test, and I love what that represents. But it's a lot to ask a new coach to do. Sit down and go through all that. So something that I do is I send my new coaches. It's just a picture, and I say, I want you to look at this picture and figure out which one is you or which two are you. And on our Getting Started Right call, we're going to go over it. And it's the Danny Johnson gems, and it's just a picture, and it has 4 gems on it and gives you a description of each one. And that way, it's pretty much the same thing as the color code. It's just done with gems. So, like, I just signed 2 new coaches last week that are both exactly me. Sorry, Kristen. I know she's on. they both said I'm a white, a pearl with a sapphire. So those are basically a white and a blue. Okay. For the color code personality test. So I send those to them as well on top of, the welcome email and doing the getting started right call and all that kind of stuff. That way I know what drives them and I know how to best help them because they like to either help people or they like to be in charge of something, like whatever that is. So I know how to get them started right as far as their own personality. Because I feel like if we're starting everybody off the same exact way, we're going to lose people down the road because, one person's personality is not the same as somebody else's. So someone who is going to do well with trying to help as many people as we can because they're a blue and a white compared to somebody who, wants to take leadership and start, being active in groups and stuff like that is going to be totally different. So really knowing the personality and how to motivate people in the beginning, right off from the bat, is going to help you guys grow your team as well. So I can post that picture in the group.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
What about anybody else? What do you guys do for new coaches?
I'll share for my whole team, and Kaylee does this too now. We just started doing calendars. I do the team calendar so they know, and I have every coach have a day. Since I don't have that huge of a team, they have a day to do a daily tip or a recipe or something in the challenge group, and then I'll do the daily check-in. So everyone has a day to take care of and be in charge. And then hopefully when they start their own group, they'll know what to do. And then I also do a personal posting calendar, and I post it in my team page so they know what I do every day of the week to give them an idea of what to do on social media.
That's good. Yeah, because they come into this I don't know what to post, and they start posting the wrong things. You're like, oh wait, delete that. Don't post that. So yeah, that's really good. And I like the idea of, giving them, it's probably the same across the board, whether you have a big team or a small team, because once you develop a bigger team, you're still going to have pretty much the same amount of people in your challenge groups that are new coaches, because your older coaches are going to go out and do their own, so it's really good to have them, give them a schedule of when to post, because it's giving them the leadership skills to build upon, for when they do have to branch out. And then they can take that, and that is duplicatable for their teams. So I do like that, because now they can take that when they start doing their own and building their own teams. They can say, okay, this is what has worked for Kate, and this is what we did, and this is something that, you're going to have Tuesdays and Thursdays, and, and it really puts them in a totally duplicatable. So that's very good. Anybody else? Okay, Kristen, that watermelon looks really good. Okay, so moving forward as far as leadership, and I know, I was actually talking to Melanie about this, and putting my feelers out with corporate and all that kind of stuff about coming up with a leadership training for Revelation Fitness. And I want both inputs from new leaders and old leaders. So not calling Kristen and Bianca old leaders, but they're seasoned leaders, they're star diamonds, they're, obviously creating duplicatable things within their teams that's working. So I talked to Tiffany about this a little bit, right, Tiffany, about a leadership training group that I'm going to be creating. And it's, going to be created hopefully this month, so that we can put it in place starting in August. But it's for new leaders on new diamonds. I feel like there's a lot of diamonds that come into this and they're just stuck. They're not moving past diamond. They're, trying to figure out, where do I go from here? And they kind of get stale and get discouraged or whatever it may be. So we want to come up with a Revelation Fitness team-wide training that we can pass along to our coaches. It's also duplicatable for when they go diamond. So what would you guys, as far as newer diamonds that are not star diamond, what would you like to see in this type of training? We have obviously the I'm very big on stability, so we want to create stability on teams. But as far as what are you guys lacking, or what do you guys need as far as leadership skills to be put into this group? Does anybody have any ideas? No. Do any of my seasoned leaders have any ideas what you would like to add to the group? Time management is going to be a big one. Success Club is going to be a big one.
I think the part that's kind of missing is a lot of people, like, I like how some of the other teams, like Misfit Republic, how they really have a team theme. Like, they have a name, they have their own brand. People are able to connect with that brand because it's, they have like the big umbrella team, but they all pretty much stand together, whether they're their own entities or not. So coming up with a culture like that, I mean, to me, that Misfit Republic has always drawn my attention. Like, I'm super jelly of them, actually, because their training down to their PowerPoints, they just have that brand. Almost like the Bombshell Dynasty, but I'm not really turned on by the Bombshell Dynasty. But that's just me. So if we are growing as a team, what makes us different from other teams in our culture?
Right. Well, that's one of the reasons why I created this diamond group and calls, because I'm hoping that it's going to bring in the leaders on, all of the teams underneath Revelation Fitness together so that we can collaborate and come up with ideas. So, like, I have a line of, a clothing line and all that kind of stuff, but we have to get other people on board to do it. We've got to get our teams on board to do it. And, because obviously it's coming out of pockets if we don't have, people ordering and all that kind of stuff. So it's in the works, but unfortunately we all have to come together on it. And there's some, that we're trying. That's why I created this group, basically, so that we can all come together as leaders so that we can properly lead our team in a cultivated way, if that makes sense. So, but as far as this is going to be an actual like leadership training. So it'll probably have its own pretty much like leadership handbook so that our leaders know and can grow and duplicate what we have done. It'll have its own training. We can create videos and all that kind of stuff. So I have a list of stuff that, I'm going to incorporate with it, but I wanted to touch base with my leaders as far as this call and figure out what you guys think should be top priority for new leaders, new diamonds, to push forward in their business and, go to Star Diamond and Premier and Elite and all that kind of stuff. Like, what do you think you should see in this?
I would like to see, like, what your average day is like. Like, for me, I became diamond so quickly that I was just I was still learning everything at the same time. So I mainly focused on challenge group stuff. And so for me, I don't really know what, I guess, a leader for a team should do, if that makes any sense. Like, I know what I should do for my challenge groups, but I don't really know what I should be doing for my coaches that want to start working the business.
Okay.
So, like, what would your average, like, power hour be just for, like, helping your other coaches? Like, what do you do? That's something that I would like to see.
Okay. Anybody else? Kristen's frozen. Oh, there, she's back. So, Kristen, you have some new diamonds on your team. What would you think that would be the best way to help them get past diamond? What would be something in a leadership manual group? Like, it would be like a leadership push group, like it would be for a diamond push group. You know, what beyond diamond, what would you do? And what would you like to see?
I think the diamond push groups are really good for some people, but for some people it's too much pressure and then they lose focus. So the ones that do hit diamonds and they're ready to take it up to the next level, I don't really go too much into elite. Like in my mind, I know I set a goal. I want at least 5 of my coaches elite this year. So I don't explain elite to them, but I will go through their coaches and I will have a power call with them every Friday. It's usually when I have power calls. Bianca and I used to do it on Wednesdays, but we don't really, she's busy with her own team, so we don't get to collaborate much. But with the newer diamonds, I go through and I say, tell me about this coach. Tell me about this challenger. Like, what's going on with them? And I just give them ideas on how they can motivate them and get them excited. And, you know, how do you feel about helping that person just find 3 people? Because if that coach hits Success Club, they're getting a small win. And it's also helping that coach with elite points, and they don't even know it yet. And I find that that has really helped them to grow their own teams without the pressure of, okay, we have to do this, we have to do that. You know, my crew is really excited to work together. They split off in challenge groups. So that's building their confidence on a parallel level as opposed to me doing groups with them. Sometimes people get really intimidated by a strong leader, and when they can take my leadership to like instill confidence in them, like they've been doing their own thing. And I just kind of go through their goals with them, and then they're also their team goals.
Right.
So I have a lot of really, like this past month, I have some really good videos and some really good top tips that will help, which I'll send to you. I made videos for everything.
Well,
But
we can definitely like put them, like, so I basically want to collaborate with all of the leaders on the team for this group because, you know, yeah, it's gonna benefit, you know, newer diamonds like Tiffany and Kate, but also it's going to be able to help them with their, you know, when they have diamonds hit. So, but I want it to be, you know, team-wide leadership, emerging leaders, collaborated manual / group, so that if you have newer diamonds like Kate and Tiffany who want to advance their business but are getting stuck on, you know, how to lead a team, we can say, okay, all of the new diamonds that want to start learning how to lead an effective team, let's put them in an emerging leaders group, and they will go through this group as far as these posts, and they'll get the leadership manual and like all that kind of stuff. Because I feel like we're having some coaches go diamond, but then they get stuck and they're like, yeah, they can add coaches to the team, but their coaches are just, you know, staying emerald, or like, how do we get them to lead effectively?
so can I ask Kate and Tiffany, are you guys running your own Coach Basics?
No, I'm not.
No. So if you guys, my suggestion right there would be like my new diamond, Ashley, she has a team now, even if it's 5 people. I told her, I said, you're going to run your own Coach Basics. And she's like, that scares me. And I said, I'm going to be there every step of the way with you, but her team wants her to teach them. And she gets to actually learn through my suggestions, but it's her voice. So her team is already connecting with her. They already see her confidence, as opposed from her merging with a group with me. This is just going to be a little bit more effective for her. And I found that when I did stuff with other coaches, it was great to build my confidence, but the minute that I stepped out on my own is when I had to take the ball and I had to figure it out. So I had to make videos, I had to make my own voice and my own scripts. And as a diamond, you're a leader, and you should be taking that role at that time. But so if you guys haven't done one by yourself, as new leaders, you guys could collaborate together, and you could say, okay, guys, you know, Kate and Tiffany could be like, here's the game plan. How can we schedule our posts? How can we do this together? And then you guys can build each other up, and then just ask the group for suggestions and do that. I mean, Bianca did the same thing when she broke off and was kind of doing her own thing. It really helped her to step into that leadership role. So it's almost like you hit diamond and you're not really sure what to do. I kind of think we all do that, but stepping into that next zone while still saying, okay, I still have my team for support, that's going to be the best way for you to create your training system without reinventing the wheel. It's just your voice.
Right. And I have all of the posts for like the Successful Start program. So it's not even that you have to come up with your own training material. It's just that, you know, you get to step into a leadership role, and it kind of, I don't like the word force, but it forces you to become, you know, to develop your leadership skills, because now you're leading these new people who know nothing. Now, you have to remember this. If you're nervous about starting, whether it's a challenge group on your own or a new coach camp on your own, doesn't matter. All of these people, it's the first time they're in one. So they don't know whether you totally bomb or, you know, it goes off without a hitch, because they don't know any better. So it's something good to give a try. And even if you have 2 coaches in it, doesn't matter. More power to you, because you can focus more on 2 coaches and really get them going, you know, full force and really stay on top of them, rather than having to stay on top of 5 or 6 coaches, you know. So it's always good. So it's something to think about. But yeah, definitely.
And then the way you can add to the emerging leaders is you can say, like, say Tiffany and Kate or Bianca did their own training, they can come back to the group and say, hey guys, I just wanted to share with you, I ran this Coach Basics this month and this is what worked for me. Because the more you do it, if you think about it, if you run a Coach Basics every month for a year, that's 12 groups. So if one's a flop, but then you have that one that's really successful because you've tweaked whatever, you're always going to tweak and try to define things. Then you can come back and share and be like, hey guys, I just found that this tip is really helpful. I really like this. And you can add value that way, I think, to the group.
Yep. I mean, if, you know, Kristen and Bianca, anybody that runs within this emerging leaders group, anybody that runs their own Coach Basics group or something like that, we can create a file and put our posts in there, and you can pull, you know, and create your own that speaks to you and the type of person that you are. Because my Successful Start program, you know, is something that I created, and I literally just tweaked it last month. I completely redid the whole thing. And it stemmed from that coach manual that I created, but that was something that I decided to do all on my own. And really it took me some time. Yes, it was effective before, but I wanted to make it better and more effective. So I redid it, and I added new things that I thought people were lacking from the old one. And I put them in the new one, and I took some stuff out from the old one that necessarily wasn't that important right at the beginning of the business, and I added more stuff that was. So, you know, anybody that's on or listens to this recording or whatever from the Emerging Leaders group can actually post. Well, I'll create a file in there, and they'll post their posts for the day, and you can go through and you can pick and pull, like, oh, I really like that idea from, you know, Amy's Coach Basics group or Kristen's or Bianca's, or like whatever it is, and create your own, see if it works, and track it. Make sure you track it, because if you don't know, okay, you have 2 people or 5 people in your Coach Basics group this month, and your goal for your Coach Basics, like mine is Success Club 5 and Emerald, and you have 2 people or 1 person hit Emerald and Success Club 5 out of the 5, you know, maybe something because some of the other people are getting lost or whatever it is. So you want to make sure that you're constantly tracking what you're doing in your group so that you know what to tweak for the next month and see if it's actually going to work. better or worse, or, you know, whatever it is. And then once you have it down where a good portion of your people are meeting the goals that you have set for your own group, then you know, okay, this is working. I'm not saying it's going to be perfect. I'm not saying everybody's going to meet your goals, but when you have a good majority of it, then most of these people it's clicking with them and you're doing something right. So I do suggest, obviously, you know, getting out on your own to do that. So it's a good point. But yeah, do you guys like the idea of a leadership group, you know, a Beyond Diamond leadership group to help you guys get past Diamond and start leading a team? Like something that you guys can, like, you know, refer back to or stuff like that. I feel like with Beachbody, that's one of the places that they lack as far as training in the back office is on leadership. I was talking to Melanie about this. She said that she actually talked to corporate about creating more leadership training in the back, because we have everything for new coaches. We have everything for, you know, emeralds and stuff like that. But the actual leadership and how to step out into a leadership role is not there. You know, it comes from, personal development and all that kind of stuff and learning from your upline and from other coaches. But you have those coaches that just get stuck and need to know how to effectively lead and help their coaches do the same. So I think a group that we all collaborate on would be really beneficial. You know, whether it's, you know, something that they can do on their own through the website that I'm creating, or it's a group that we make on Facebook and you guys have, like, everybody has the posts for it. Like, this is where we're going to come up with ideas. That's why, one of the reasons, you know, why I brought it up, because, you know, I want feedback. You know, do you want, like, is it something that you just want to say, okay, I have this new diamond on my team and she needs leadership skills. Here's a web address to the leadership training on the website, you know, and they can go there and they can go through the videos and the trainings themselves. Or is it something that, oh, hey, Revelation Fitness, I have 2 new diamonds on my team that want team training. I'm going to run a leadership group this month. Does anybody else have any new diamonds or whatever that want to do the same? And we add them all to a group. Like, which one do you feel like would be most effective, or would you want to do both? You know, so if you have somebody that doesn't like groups, they could do it on their own or whatever. Like, what are your thoughts?
I personally think I would like running it as a group rather than just the website, because that way we can give, like, for myself, like, I like the feedback. I like to know, like, be able to ask questions, like, if something's not working for me or whatever, be able to ask about it. So that's why I'd like being able to interact with the group more than just going on and doing the training.
Okay.
Yeah, I would agree with Tiffany too, because that's what I feel like is the most lacking, in the sense that, you know, we have so many questions and we're trying to do these, like, I know how you do it, Kaylee, for, like, challenge groups and how you lead, but I also want to, like, I'm always curious, like, what other people are doing, or, like, what's successful, because I try all different things and some things just don't work, or I have questions about it. And yeah, up till like a week ago, I had a lot of questions, but I found an accountability partner on another team, which is really helpful, because then we bounce things off each other. But again, like, feedback would really help, because sometimes I just feel, you know, lost, but I know how you do it. You know, that's the...
Yeah. So, like, it's, you know, obviously when I don't know what to do with somebody or a coach or whatever, I always try to think back to what Melanie did with me at this situation or whatever, because that's something duplicatable. Like, okay, she did this with me, so this is what I'm going to do with my team, and so on and so forth. And that's kind of what I've done on top of, you know, growing my leadership skills with personal development and reaching out to new coaches. And I cannot express enough how important it is to have somebody, and preferably it's somebody that you just click with, and hopefully it's somebody from a completely different team. I have 2 success partners, 2 really good friends from 2 completely different teams. So on top of that, I have obviously Deidre from the Dream Team, but I have Alicia from Jessica Jessica something or other's team, and I have Natalie from a different team. So like I have all these people that we can bounce ideas off of for leadership and what their teams have done, and because everybody has a different style, and something like I said, just like collaborating all of our posts for our Coach Basics groups, it's the same thing. Like you pull leadership from everywhere that you possibly can and put it together as to what's going to fit to you in your life, and something that's going to work for you and your coaches. So it's one of the reasons why it's important to get to events and all that kind of stuff, because you make friends outside of Revelation Fitness and the Dream Team, so that's really good. So I like that, Kate. It's very much like what I did. The more you talk about it and the more you get involved in other coach groups and stuff like that, the more you're going to learn. Obviously the more you learn, the more you grow, and the more you grow, the more groups you're added to, so you can learn more.
Yeah, and I think like interactive questions within that group would be really helpful. I know like when we did the first month diamond training or whatever, that was super overwhelming, and a lot of people were, I know we do a lot of discount coaching and stuff like for our teams to get us to diamond and stuff, so it was hard because everyone else is like, I have 10 coaches, and like, I have one, I'm working hard on them, but
yeah. I mean, everybody does discount coaches to get the diamond. It's just the name of the game. But after that, it's a recruiting game. How the numbers you recruit. I think it's every 10 coaches you recruit, like 3 of them say they want to work the business, and 1 of them actually does. So, that's why it's always a numbers game. And same thing with invites. Every 10 no's you get 1 yes. The numbers suck, but it's what happens, and it's what drives your business, so you do it. But yeah, I've been thinking about it for a while. I think the leadership trainings will be good for the team, and this leadership group will be good for the culture of the team. I think that if we can get everyone together, we will be able to build successful sub-teams, right? Does anybody have anything else? Okay, so I want Kristen, Bianca, Amy, anybody that runs their own Coach Basics groups or accelerated coach groups or whatever, new coach camps. I want you guys, I'm going to create a file. Put your daily post or whatever information you have, so the newer diamonds can pull from them and see how they can create their own and really branch out and get off to a good start as far as running their own. If the older diamonds, star diamonds, have anything else they want to add, just add it to the page in a document form or whatever you think is going to help leadership. If something comes to your mind about the leadership manual or leadership guide, we call it, /group, let me know, and we'll collaborate on that and see what we can get in place for starting in August with that type of group. Bianca, you have something?
Yeah, the accelerated coach training, the Coach Basics that you did, do you have that uploaded in Revelation Fitness?
The posts, I don't.
They're not?
The manual and I just redid, like last month, I just redid all of the posts, and I have, this is the second group that I'm running starting today with these new posts. So that's all going to go into this file section.
Gotcha. Yeah, because Kristen and I have been doing Coach Basics together, but we decided this month to do them apart, just separate, because we just find that people respond better when you're posting to your own coaches. They listen, and when we're doing it together, there's zero interaction. So we're trying it out this month, and I'm going to be doing like a quick 21-day. This is what you must know, and I'm actually not doing a Coach Basics, if you want to put it that way. I'm doing it like for my whole team, because I feel like to be honest, I haven't been a good leader because I haven't given them all the things that they need, because some have it, some don't, they're all over the place. So I kind of want to get everybody that's working the business on the same page. So I'm going to be doing like a new, I don't even know what I'm going to call it yet, but it's going to start next week. And it's going to be like 21 days, just the basic information. Here's what you need to know, just to make sure everybody that's in my team has the same information, you know? Mm-hmm. So if anybody wants to partner up with me and try to come up with a template, I'll be happy to work with, you know, whoever.
Okay. All right. Yeah, well, this is being recorded, so anybody that couldn't jump on can go back and re-listen to this and put their input in under the recording. So that will be good. But yeah, I'm going to come in to this group after I run downstairs and get some lunch because I'm hungry. And I'll add in my posts and the manual that I created. So everybody has that. And you guys can share it down the line or whatever it is. And you got, you know, Star Diamonds, if you have your own stuff, add that too. And then anybody that comes into this group can look in the file section and know, like, okay, I can pull from this, I can pull from that. You know, if we don't have any, if some diamonds are not running their own challenge groups yet, we can post our challenge group guides. I have a faith and devotion one that I can post in there that I literally, if it's not a faith and devotion group, I just still have that and I just take the part that's not the devotion part and I post it in my groups. So, you know, we can use those too. We can share all that. Because I think one of the most important things that we can do as Star Diamonds for our diamonds is have them fly, you know, as far as challenge groups and coach basics groups and all that kind of stuff, because it's kind of, no offense, Kate and Tiffany, but it's kind of forcing you into that leadership role, whether you're good or not. The more practice you have, the better you become. So if it's the posts that you don't know how to do or anything, it's all here for you, and you just take it and you tweak it to make it sound like you and be genuine from you, and you know that's kind of what you do. And that's kind of, you know, I don't even remember when I separated from Mel as far as challenge group wise, but I'm a little bit more lenient with my coaches, which maybe that's my own fault. But I think Melanie said I could do one of hers and then I had to branch out on my own. You know, I let my coaches do as many as they want until they're comfortable because I'm not a pusher. But once you become diamond, I think you're pretty much there. Where even if, like, my first few challenge groups, I still don't have successful challenge groups. They're not my strong suit. My strong suit is working with coaches. But, you know, I still run them every month, whether I have 2 people or 10 people, you know. Doesn't matter. And I always have that. So, you know, if you're a newer diamond and you're running your first group, you're going to have your coaches, if you're working with them to find 3 new challengers, they're going to be in your groups. You know, so that kind of stuff. And something else that I would like the Star Diamonds to do is to, whether you want to create a file and upload it, I can create or upload it in a document, whatever it is, about what you talk about on your Getting Started Right calls. Because I know every coach talks about something different. And I want the diamonds to be able to start getting on their own Getting Started Right calls and pulling from our information as well as what we talk about. The most important things, obviously, it's important not to go into a whole bunch of detail for a new coach. And there's so much information that we can give them on a Getting Started Right call that I don't want the new coaches overstimulating their new coaches to the point where they're taken aback and they don't do anything. So what are like the top 4 things you go over on a Getting Started Right call or something like that, so that our new coaches can pull from it and say, okay, you know, this is important. Because, you know, for some coaches, I feel like if their goal is income related and not rank related, they're going to talk about something different on a Getting Started Right call than somebody who has the opposite goal. And Bianca and Kristen can, you know, come back and say, no, that's not true. But I feel like if you have an income goal, so you're focusing on volume, you are focusing on sales, and your coach is selling, and your coaches, you know, whether they're signing coaches as discount coaches or whatever, but that's like a really driven thing. But if you're focused on rank advancing, you're really focusing on, okay, this is what you need to do. This is the first step. This is, you know, Emerald. And then that's 2 coaches and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So you're going to be talking about different things. So if you guys can put together that too, that would be awesome. I know Kristen's on the phone, but she can go back and listen. But yeah, anybody have anything else that they want to ask or talk about? Okay. Well then, we will get the ball rolling in that group and start posting all of these things so that you guys can share them with your teams and all that kind of stuff. And if you have anybody to go diamond on your team, they're added to this group so that they can start their, leadership and learning and stuff like that. Okay? All right, everybody have a good Monday. I'll talk to you later. Bye.